Hello everyone, and welcome to this latest Young Farmers podcast episode. And we're talking about a brand new challenge that YFC is launching and hoping to get all of you involved in some way to get more people in and out of YFC inspired when it comes to food, farming and the countryside. Yes, today is all about EIEIO. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that. All will be revealed. Listen on to hear more. I'm Ben Eagle. I'm a rural affairs podcaster and journalist, and I'm joined today by three young farmers who are going to tell me about the EIEIO challenge, what it involves, and why you should think about getting your club involved. First up is Charlotte Garbutt. Charlotte grew up on an arable beef and sheep farm in Yorkshire. She studied agribusiness at Harper and currently works as an area manager in Yorkshire for a global agrochemical company. She also runs a small herd pedigree Limousin cattle with her partner. She's the current chair of NFYFC's AGRI steering group and has held many roles in Young Farmers, including recently as county chair for Lincolnshire Young Farmers. Luke Cox is next. He's also with me. Luke grew up in Gloucestershire on an arable farm and until September last year was the chair of Malmesbury Young Farmers. He studied agriculture at Reading and now works as a combinable crops policy advisor with the NFU. Finally, we have Jess Spencer with us from Nottinghamshire Young Farmers. Jess also grew up on a family beef and arable farm and now runs the sales and marketing for the farm's farm shop. She also does quite a lot of public engagement and has recently been doing lamb bottle feeding sessions with people coming to the farm. She studied agri-food marketing with business studies at Harper, where she was also chair of the Students' Union. Massive introductions there for you all. So sorry that took an age, but how are you all doing? Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for doing this, Ben.
Right, let's dive straight in. And Charlotte, I'm going to start with you. What is the EIEIO? Oh, I'm going to fluff that so much today. What is the EIEIO challenge? Why is NFYFC launching it?
Well, I'm glad you're struggling to say it, Ben, because I also do too. So what it is an abbreviation. You'll all be familiar with Old MacDonald and his farm, and we took the EIEIO abbreviation, and we really found that as kind of 5 pillars of what we want to do as an organisation, which is to engage, to inform, to educate, to inspire and create those opportunities for people who may or may not be involved in agriculture and really showcase what our industry is all about.
Brilliant. And what's actually involved? What do clubs or members need to do?
So, as part of a wider campaign, really promoting agriculture to the wider industry and outside of the industry, we thought we've got some very competitive members, so why not create a challenge? And we were all sat in a cafe in London, and we're waiting to actually meet Jess's dad, Right Honourable Mark Spencer. While we were there, kind of this creative juices were flowing. We were all talking about, how can we educate and engage with wider people within the industry and actually outside of the industry as well. And Jess and her club back in Nottinghamshire, Loudham Young Farmers, had created this wonderful video, which was all about dairy farming. And we thought, well, could we challenge every club within our organisation to create a video on a particular topic that they feel passionate about, but to showcase that element of the industry that they want to, talk about, and with those kind of 5 pillars embedded within that video, and for us to be able to use that for all those different purposes to engage the general public, to inform them of what's happening, whether that be keeping dogs on leads, whether that's informing them about the challenges involved with agriculture in general, educating them perhaps about where their food is coming from, which is really important. Our homegrown campaign has been really pushed widely this last year, and we want to help support that. To inspire people, there's lots of careers, there's lots of roles within agriculture that perhaps people aren't aware of, and then opportunities. So perhaps there's an opportunity for someone who they may not be aware of. So if we can kind of target all 5 pillars and really showcase what agriculture is about, then I think that's a job well done.
So this is a competition. We're trying to get as many people as possible involved, but it is still a competition and there will be a winner. So what are the parameters? What are people actually sort of following? What are you looking for in these videos?
So We appreciate there's so many different topics to cover and there's going to be so many different videos out there from clubs. But really, following that engage, inform, educate, inspire and opportunities, cover those within the video. There will be a time limit and there will be certain parameters to follow. Again, that criteria will be available soon. But essentially, ensure that you're following the EIEIO 5 different pillars within your video, and that should be a worthy winner, I'm sure.
Fantastic. So that's the challenge. Make your own video. Luke, I'm going to go over to you. Charlotte mentioned some ideas there, but what sort of range of topics or themes could people talk about here?
I mean, it can be absolutely anything, whatever people sort of feel comfortable doing and are passionate about. A few ideas that we've talked about is just talking about their own farm that they're working on. Everyone's got their own story to tell. Everything's a bit different on every farm. So there's always going to be something interesting you can talk about and share with other people who are watching your video. People also talk about the countryside, great British countryside that everyone enjoys every day. They're able to sort of go and explain how people can get more involved in that countryside, how they can access it and understand it better, and also help explain to people how the countryside code works and why it's important for people to keep dogs on leads, to pick up litter, to shut gates behind them. So there's a piece there that people can do around the countryside. Or it could just be how young farmers are getting involved in their local community. Young farmers are renowned for doing great things with their local communities. And actually, it's a great opportunity to share something that they might be doing at the moment, promoting young farmers, food, farming and the countryside.
Jess, I'm going to go over to you. Charlotte actually mentioned your video, which is sort of where this started in many ways. You work in sales and marketing. You also clearly have experience in video editing and production. So, as our resident expert here now, what advice would you give to everyone when it comes to how to make a good video?
Crikey, resident expert. That's a title.
I'm going to give you that.
Oh, well, I'll claim it. Thank you. I would say if you're going to make a video, it's got to be eye-catching for a start. It's got to be something that's going to grab someone's attention and they're going to go, oh yeah, I'll happily sit and watch this for a minute or two. When we did our dairy farming video as a club back in February 2021, I believe it was, it literally just came about because as a club we were really frustrated that national media had just put a really negative outlook on dairy farming, and we said, right, we're going to combat that. So there was a bit of a problem and we thought we're going to have to create a solution to this. And we all came together as a club and we just filmed the video, one meeting that we had on a Wednesday, and we just got together and all sort of throwing some ideas around. So a core to a video, it's got to be fun. Otherwise, what's the point? It's got to be something you're passionate about. Otherwise, it's not going to be believable to the viewers. And hopefully we ticked all of those boxes in one go. When we did our dairy farm video, we were really passionate about what we were fighting for. We wanted to promote the industry in a positive light and we had a great time doing it. So it was really good fun.
Yeah, and similarly, this doesn't have to be something that's massively complicated, does it? It can be super simple.
Absolutely. I mean, we're doing another video tomorrow night, actually, with our club, because it's show seasons. And one of the entries, one of the competitions is to create a video. And this time we're doing it about the countryside code, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to tick off what Luke was saying. And again, we're just going to get together in one of the local fields and bat some ideas around and have a great time doing it. So it's so simple, something you can do in a club meeting. So it's no extra time taken up by doing it. So definitely get on board and join in.
Brilliant. Luke, part of the challenge is also about engaging with a local school in some capacity about food and farming, and possibly also careers if students are at that stage of sort of making subject choices. But it's also about talking about nutrition and cooking as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that side of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd really encourage everyone to try and work with their local school, not just as part of this challenge, but also going forward as well. I think young people really want to learn and want to be inspired. And I don't know an industry that's more exciting than farming at the moment. So it's a great opportunity to engage with these young people and also help them connect better with their food that they're eating every day. When we talk about nutrition and talk about food, then this challenge could be a great opportunity to help people understand a bit more about the food on their plate and connect with it better. And we want people to prepare and cook great British food. We create so much good food in this country. But yes, we want to promote this healthy, nutritious local food. So hopefully by connecting with schools, we can do that and just inspire people to cook great food.
So I'm going to pick on all three of you now, actually, because if you were making your own video, I just wonder what you would include. What would you want to talk about and why? Who am I going to start with? Jess, I think.
So I would definitely, I'm going to use the example of the countryside code because it's on the brain at the moment, and that's something that we're going to do. I would definitely try and get in there about litter. Where we are on the urban fringe in Nottinghamshire, litter is quite a big issue around here in the countryside. So I would definitely pick up on that. As a sheep farmer as well, obviously I've got some lambs that I'm bottle feeding at the moment. So I'm really conscious that as soon as they go out into the field, we have got footpaths along the border of our farm. So I'd like to make sure that people are educated about keeping their animals on leads. I know people trust their animals, and rightly so they should. They're lovely pets. But in a split second, their mindset could change. It's in that split second that something terrible could happen. And I really don't want someone to lose their dog or to lose any of my livestock. But ultimately, I mean, there's lots of things that are going on in the industry as well. We want to really back British farmers as well. So the more we can do about shouting about how fantastic the food is in this country, because it is, well, as farmers ourselves, we know how brilliant it is because we do it. And we are so rubbish at telling everyone how great it is. So the more that we can do just to spread the word, get out there, get to your local farm shop. I would say that. But, get out there, enjoy some fantastic British food. There's so much out there.
Yeah. Luke, what would be in yours?
Yeah, mine would be similar, actually. I think access to the countryside is a really important point. It's a great public asset that's available to absolutely everyone. And I'd love people to perhaps even feel just more confident to go out and enjoy it. It's the most mentally and physically rewarding thing you can do to get out in the open air. It's a great opportunity. And I think I'd use my video to try and explain to people why the countryside looks like it does. It doesn't look that way by chance. It looks like that because it's farmed by British farmers, and that's what shaped it to look so good. So I'd use my video to explain to people why it looks like it does, why it looks so beautiful, and encourage people to get out and make the most of it.
Cool. Charlotte?
Well, first of all, Ben, I'd have to ask very kindly if Jess would help me do the video, because Jess and I have done videos in the past, and I tend to feature on it or feed in the ideas, and Jess very much is the creative one. So first of all, yeah, Jess would be on my team. Secondly, I'd need Luke on there talking very passionately about agriculture. And I think the main thing I would try and get across to every club is definitely focus on something that you're really passionate about. I know Jess said it earlier, that it's much easier if it's something you really believe in, you particularly focused on. Perhaps you've got that experience in that area. It may be something positive, or it may be something that's kind of negative, and you want to kind of inform people of how to make it positive. So whether you are surrounded by dairy farms, or whether perhaps you're in, South Lincolnshire, where there's a lot of vegetables grown, have a think about what may be kind of really applicable and really get the most out of the people who are involved in your video. And finally, involve everybody in your club. That's what I would certainly want to do, is try and have everybody represented, from your youngest member right up to your oldest member, to really contribute to that video, because we all don't want to listen to the same person. Certainly work as a team and get someone really good at videos. I'm sure Jess will do some how-tos. But we do have the toolkit available that will be able to help everybody with their preparation.
Fantastic. So I think that's a great point as well. That for me is one of the best things about this as a challenge. Everyone can get involved. But you mentioned sort of what is special to your local area as well there. And part of this challenge is about local as well. Jess, why do you think it's so important that we talk about local food and how to source your food locally? If you can, of course. And if you can't, then I suppose the importance of being discerning as a shopper.
It's very rare that you would be in a situation where there isn't food grown locally, to be honest. We're very lucky that in the United Kingdom, we are predominantly quite rural. So, and our access to food and the quality of food technically is all over, even in the middle of London. There's some fantastic food vendors. Of course, look as locally as possible. You'd be surprised about what's being grown. I mean, this morning, we have just had Nottinghamshire asparagus dropped off to us in the farm shop, cut out the field this morning. So you can't get more fresh than that. Only grown about 4 miles down the road. So just get out, go and have a look. Say farm shops, even like small delis, things like that. They are stocking usually either home or locally reared meats. In terms of buying and consuming food as local as possible, you are keeping those food miles to an absolute minimum. So we're not importing avocados from halfway around the world and using all of that jet fuel to get here. It's literally either grown within meters or miles of where you're purchasing your food. So that's so much better for the environment. So buy local where you can.
Super. So that's one topic idea. Public access, getting out into the countryside, that might be another thing that people might want to talk about. And that's a massive subject for farmers in particular. But I mean, Luke, if someone doesn't experience the countryside, then they're less likely to care about it. And if you were to choose public access, I suppose, or getting out into the countryside as a topic for your video, how could you go about doing that, say, as a topic?
I think I keep it quite simple and just take them on a walk. I mean, the countryside that we all live in is absolutely stunning, and I just take the opportunity to take people on a walk and show them what I get to see. Explain why it's important to shut the gate behind me, to pick up my dog poo, to keep my dog on a lead, but also just show them the sights and the views that I'm seeing as I go around, and hopefully inspire people to get out and do the same, feel confident enough to go out and enjoy all the countryside.
Charlotte, let's have a quick chat about careers, because this could be another thing that someone might want to profile. And as we were saying earlier, there's a massive range of careers in ag, aren't there?
100%, Ben. Yeah, we've got some fantastic institutions from further to higher education. Harper Adams being one. There are other universities available, but there are some really great stepping stones towards careers in agriculture, whether that's from getting experience out there in the industry and working your way up, or whether that is following a further or higher education route. And we kind of get bogged down thinking that agriculture and being in agriculture means you're farming. And actually, it's a very small percentage of the agricultural industry is actually classified as farmers. And there is such a huge network of people involved that are feeding into and being part of the agricultural industry. So that's everyone from marketing and sales roles, agronomy roles, it may be HR roles. There's so many different areas within agriculture that feed in. And it's a really nice industry to be in. It's kind of, we would say that, we're biased in that sense, but there's so much scope. We are a evolving industry. You look at a lot of other industries, they've kind of been through their revolution. They've kind of been there and done it. And agriculture is really thriving at the moment in terms of the inputs, the investments from the companies and the kind of direction of where agriculture is going. You only have to look at the autonomy and different elements of technology that are going on at the moment. There's really some exciting careers for people within agriculture. So I would say if you're a club who's thinking, actually, we want to do something slightly different, perhaps we don't want to focus on a particular enterprise within agriculture or do something around the countryside code. Actually, we want to promote careers within agriculture because it's so important that we ensure we've got continued diversity, we've got new thoughts, new ideas to kind of keep pushing agriculture forward. We're here to feed the world. We're also here to do that sustainably. So it's great if we can promote those careers to a wider audience.
As well as careers and local food, we want to talk about and get people cooking too. I'm sure that you have lots of amazing local food available in your farm shop, Jess. What would you cook using some of the produce that you have available in the shop? I thought this could be another sort of creative use of making a video.
I'm going to go full Nottinghamshire in my meal. So for a start, I'm going to go for probably a piece of fillet steak, home reared, of course, right from the farm. And I would probably pair that with some fresh asparagus that has arrived this morning from Limby, just down the road. And then I'm going to do some hand-cut chips with homegrown Wiltshire potatoes, Spring Lane's finest. And then one better, I'm going to top it all off with some melted Crockwell Bishop Stilton sauce.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
That sounds fantastic. Luke, what would you cook?
Well, I want what Jessica's having, to be honest. But alternatively, it'd have to be your good old Sunday roast. I think crispy roast potatoes, giant Yorkshire pudding, all covered in gravy. You can't go wrong.
Oh, that's such a good choice, isn't it? Because actually, that showcases so much of the best of British as well.
So much food in there and such a variety that you can sort of mix and match with the meats, the veg. It's you can put everything in.
Charlotte?
So I'm just excessively salivating here and thinking just how amazing both those meals sound. So I'd probably do a hybrid of the two. And Jess has been doing lamb bottle feeding, and general public have been going along to feed those lambs. So controversially, I'd be quite interested in eating those lambs, and we'll be having some home reared lamb alongside my Yorkshire pudding and locally sourced vegetables.
Nice, a bit of mint sauce maybe as well. So, just rounding this up, what one message do you want to give to encourage members and clubs to get involved with the, let's see if I can actually say it this time, EIEIO challenge? Jess?
I think ultimately we're all a part of this fantastic organisation, which is obviously NFYFC, Young Farmers. And we've got so much opportunity to use that as a platform. We're all very lucky that we've joined Young Farmers. We've all got very similar goals, aspirations. Presumably we all have quite a passion for food and farming. And I think we really need to be able to take advantage of that. We're so unique because we've got access to this platform, which is national. It covers the entire country. We've got a wealth of people that are full of skills. They're passionate. They are outgoing, very confident people. And I think as clubs around the country, we should unite and use that power and that forefront to then be educating everyone else in the country, people that aren't necessarily engaged, that really need to be, because it's a shame that people don't know about where their food comes from. I've been doing school visits and things like that, obviously people coming to us do the lamb feeding, and it's really disheartening actually how many children do not know where their food comes from. You could ask them a simple question of, where do carrots come from? And their response will be, oh, my mum goes to Tesco. And children genuinely believe in this day and age that their food just comes out of the supermarket. There's no previous stage of how they're grown, how things are reared, and how that food gets there. And that's what we're really missing. It's that core provenance of getting people's mindsets to think, oh, this is how that was grown. That's how it's all been made. And all that work that has gone into it before from all of our farmers and food producers. And I think that's where we can really nail and we can be educating people. So that's how we're going to, engage people, inspire them, educate, and really bring them along this EIEIO motive. So let's get out there. Let's all join in together. We've got time, we've got meetings, and we've got the tools and the skills to do it. So let's just go out and have some fun and get on with it.
Luke, your message to members, your message to clubs?
Yeah, just talk about something that you love, talk about something you enjoy doing, and talk about something you're passionate about, and just let that passion shine through in the video that you make. And
Charlotte, we'll give you the final word.
So there's absolutely no pressure for clubs to feel like they have to do this competition or feel like it's another competition to take part in. We have a very busy YFC calendar, from everything from tug of war all the way to public speaking. But this is your opportunity to not only take on a challenge, and yes, there will be winners, there will be prizes, but this is a bigger challenge. This is much deeper rooted than just walking away with a trophy or a certificate. This is a huge step forward in terms of your role within agriculture, promoting our industry and sending out a positive message to not only people outside of our industry, but perhaps people inside the industry as well. Certainly from my perspective, I would not be as informed in certain enterprises within agriculture as others. And perhaps there's a wider message here around just the scope of people we are able to approach, to influence, and really the whole EIEIO kind of motive of what we're doing is such a wide range of people. And I think what a great journey for us to be on, to showcase what we know, deliver that passion, and as they say, hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So please do take up the opportunity. I can't wait to see all the videos, and this is a really great opportunity to promote our industry.
Fantastic. And I personally, I think this is a great project. We'll leave it there. But huge thanks to Luke, Charlotte and Jess for coming on today. Thank you for listening, and please do get involved with the EIEIO challenge if it's something that you feel like you and your club will get something from. Take part. I know that the NFYFC team are really looking forward to seeing your videos and what you come up with. There will be loads of helpful tips for making videos, as well as info on where and when to send your entries, the closing date, and any other info that you might need on the NFYFC website, as well as in the newsletters. So keep an eye on those for more info. The winner will be announced later this year during National Young Farmers Week. For now, though, I'm Ben Eagle. Thank you very much for listening to this, and good luck. This podcast was produced by Rural Pod Media for the National Federation of Young Farmers Clubs. The presenter was Ben Eagle, and there was further editorial support from Sarah Palmer. The podcast was supported by Kuhn Farm Machinery, and there was further collaboration with NFYFC's wider industry and governmental supporters.